You close your eyes, and you start to float away. Not metaphorically, actually float, drifting slowly off whatever you were resting against, arms rising in front of your chest like you're surrendering to something, spinning almost imperceptibly in the dark. On Earth, falling asleep means sinking into a mattress that catches you and holds you there for 8 hours. On the International Space Station, there is no catching. There is no holding. So how do you sleep when the one thing your body has trusted for its entire existence, the simple fact of lying down, no longer exists? This is one of the strangest problems in all of human spaceflight. Not the loudest, not the most dangerous, but maybe the most disorienting. Because everything you think you know about rest was built for a world with a floor. Take the floor away, and sleep stops being simple. Let's start with the part nobody expects. Astronauts don't lie down at all. There is no down to lie toward. Instead, each crew member has their own sleep station, a padded chamber barely bigger than a phone booth, just large enough to float inside without bumping the walls. Inside it, they zip themselves into a sleeping bag that is tethered to the wall at several points, so that as they drift off, they don't drift away, no matter which direction they happen to be facing when sleep takes them. You can sleep upside down. You can sleep sideways. On the ISS, those words stop meaning anything because there is no orientation your body is required to respect. Most astronauts strap their arms down too, and for a very specific reason. Free-floating limbs don't just drift, they twitch. Small muscle movements that would normally settle onto a mattress instead send your arms gently rising in front of you. Hour after hour, all night long. Astronauts call it the zombie pose. And photographs of sleeping crew members often show exactly that. Arms raised, floating as if frozen mid-reach. Strapping down keeps that from happening and lets the body actually settle into something resembling stillness. Now, you might assume this would feel amazing. No pressure points, no tossing and turning, none of the aches of a body pressed against a mattress all night. And for some astronauts, that's exactly the case. Many say the sleep is remarkably comfortable once you get used to it. There's no shoulder to go numb, no hip to ache, no need to roll over. Your body simply exists, unsupported, floating in perfect equilibrium. But for a lot of first-timers, it's the opposite. Without gravity pulling blood down toward your legs, fluid shifts upward into your face and sinuses, and many astronauts describe the sensation as a permanent, mild head cold. A stuffy, pressurized feeling that doesn't go away no matter how they turn. Some describe a strange vertigo in the first nights. A sense of tumbling even while perfectly still as the inner ear tries and fails to make sense of an environment it was never built for. And some astronauts report a dream that shows up again and again, falling, which is strange considering that on the station they are technically falling all the time, endlessly, harmlessly around the Earth. This adjustment doesn't happen overnight either. Astronauts say the first few nights in orbit are the hardest. The body arrives with 60 years of instinct built entirely around gravity, and it does not update quietly. Some describe reaching out in the dark for a wall that isn't where it should be, or waking with a jolt because some part of the brain, still convinced there's a floor, registered the sensation of falling. Flight surgeons on the ground track this closely, because the first week of sleep often looks nothing like the rest of the mission. Restless, shallow, interrupted by a nervous system still relearning which way is which. By the second week, most astronauts say their body simply stops asking the question. Floating becomes the new normal, and the zombie pose stops feeling strange at all. Then there's the light. On Earth, your body knows when to sleep, because the sun tells it so. One sunrise, one sunset, a slow fade that your brain has followed for your entire life. On the ISS, the sun rises and sets every 90 minutes. 16 sunrises, 16 sunsets, every single day. Which means the ordinary signal your body relies on to know it's nighttime simply doesn't exist up there in any useful form. Instead, the station keeps its windows shuttered at night, and the crew's schedule is imposed entirely artificially. A fixed 8.5 hours blocked out on the timeline, whether or not the sky agrees. And that's before you even get to the noise. The station is not quiet. Fans hum constantly because moving air is the only way to keep carbon dioxide from pooling invisibly around a sleeping astronaut's face. Without gravity, the CO2 they exhale doesn't rise or drift away on its own. It just builds up right where they're breathing. So the fans never stop, a low mechanical roar running through the whole structure, all night, every night. Pumps click on and off. Systems whir. Some astronauts wear earplugs. Others say they eventually stop noticing the sound entirely, the way you might stop hearing traffic outside a city apartment after the first few weeks. Every so often, sleep gets interrupted by something stranger. Still, cosmic rays. High-energy particles from deep space occasionally pass straight through an astronaut's closed eyelids and strike the retina directly, and the brain, having no other explanation for a signal hitting the back of the eye, interprets it as a flash of light. Astronauts have reported seeing streaks and sparks in the middle of the night, eyes closed, wide awake in the dark, watching light that was never really there. It's harmless. It is also one of the strangest things a human eye can experience. Every astronaut ends up building their own small rituals to cope. Some wear sleep masks against the fixed cabin lighting. Some listen to music or an audiobook through headphones to drown out the fan noise before drifting off. A few have admitted to talking to family photos taped to the wall of their sleep station, a tiny piece of home tethered right next to their face. In a place engineered down to the last bolt, these small, unofficial habits are the closest thing to comfort a person can build for themselves. Given all of that, it's no surprise that sleep on the station is often lighter and more fragmented than sleep on Earth. Studies have found that astronauts frequently get less rest than the schedule promises them, waking more often, drifting through lighter sleep stages, even with the best equipment science can provide. NASA takes this seriously, because a tired astronaut operating delicate, expensive, life-critical machinery is a genuine risk. So sleep isn't treated as a luxury up there. It's treated as a system, engineered and monitored like everything else that keeps the crew alive. Weekends bring a small mercy, a slightly longer, less regimented rest period, and sometimes a chance to simply float by a window for a while before turning in. Astronauts often say this is when the day finally feels like their own. No task list, no ground control, just the Earth sliding by outside the glass and the quiet decision of when to finally close their eyes. And the strangest twist of all comes after the mission ends. Astronauts coming home after months in orbit often say the hardest adjustment isn't launch, or the spacewalks, or the workload. It's the bed. After months of floating, unsupported, in perfect equilibrium, lying on a mattress again can feel oddly heavy, almost suffocating, the weight of their own body pressing down in a way they'd simply forgotten. Some say they slept on the floor for the first few nights back, chasing a firmness their body no longer expected. The thing that felt so alien in space, sleeping without a floor, had quietly become normal. And the thing that used to be normal, an ordinary bed, had become the strange one. And here is the part that stays with you. Down on Earth, we complain about sleep constantly. A lumpy mattress, a neighbor's noise, a pillow that's slightly wrong. We chase perfect sleep with more gadgets, more blackout curtains, more noise machines than any generation before us. And still, most of us take our beds completely for granted. 400 kilometers up, astronauts sleep strapped to a wall, arms bound so they don't drift into a zombie pose. Lulled by roaring fans they need just to keep breathable air moving past their face, while their brain occasionally lights up with cosmic sparks that were never really there. And still, they say yes, every time. Because for a few hours drifting in that padded box, they get to do something no human did for the first 100,000 years of our species. Fall asleep while the entire planet turns silently beneath them, 16 sunrises away, and wake up to do it again. You will lie down tonight in a bed that holds you perfectly, in a world so full of gravity you never once have to think about staying still. Somewhere above you, someone is floating free in the dark, arms raised like a ghost, listening to fans hum, waiting for a sunrise that is only 90 minutes away.